Good evening, everyone. I am Kari, your host tonight of Question to Drink, and I have my good friend Ella with us tonight. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to dive right in now that we've spent a couple moments doing that. I will tell you, on the backside of everything, we were laughing hysterically that we were having so many tech issues.
That's right. It's a great icebreaker when nothing works, Kari.
Of all people. Anyways, as you know, I've been so excited to have Ella. She is the host of On Air with Ella podcast. If you have not heard this podcast yet, I highly recommend you check it out. And while you're there, listen to episode number 217. It is with yours truly, and you will hear the whole story about how Ella came into my life, how she helped birth this business, and exactly why we're here today. And we're going to talk about a little about how we came together. But first, let me tell you, Ella is one smart cookie. She holds an MBA. She is a C-suite executive. She runs her own consultancy business. And she happens, like I said, to be the host of this amazing podcast. She was actually my very first business coach. Welcome, Ella. We're so excited to have you.
Greetings, friend. Listen, I am so thrilled to be here for a fifth time. No, I'm thrilled. And honestly, I do want to say that I know that your group and your people mean everything to you. And so I'm so honored to be able to spend even just a little bit of time with you guys. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you so much. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight about the 21-day challenge that we have coming up in October. If you have been under a rock or you just joined the group, then you may not know about it. So I'll tell you, it is a 21-day challenge. We start on October 1st. It is going to run until the midnight, October 21st. It's the whole day. And Ella has asked me to share this venture with her because of some work commitments. So I know a lot of you are here because of her. And Tilly, I will say I have a little surprise about Tilly in just a moment that I don't even think you know. So we'll be sharing a little bit about that. So if you are new here in the group, welcome. If you're watching this on the replay, please go ahead and put hashtag replay that I know you're here, and put your comments and questions in the box. We will see them. I will be able to monitor those. And we're super excited to have you. So why don't we share how this whole thing came to be? The last time you did a challenge was back in 2018, September 2018. So why don't we jump back 2 years ago and kind of move forward to where we are now?
Yeah, absolutely. This is exciting. So a couple things. So for those of you who don't know me, the On Air with Ella podcast has been around for a while, and I did take almost a 2-year hiatus. And so episode 185 was all about gray area drinking. And you'll find out in the latest episode, episode 217 with Kari, why that mattered and what journey that kicked off. But we started talking about gray area drinking 2 years ago, and we held a challenge of 21 days of no alcohol. Now, one of the things, Kari, as you know, we started, my occasional podcast partner, Tilly Harris, Tilly and I started doing these 21-day challenges for lots and lots of reasons. One is because we just like to keep doing new things. But two is, I really am sort of obsessed with the habits that make us and break us. And we have done 21 days of movement. So sometimes we take something on and sometimes we give something up, but we've done 21 days of movement. We've done 21 days of no alcohol. We've done my personal least favorite, 21 days with no caffeine, which only a sicko would do, and I don't recommend. And then I think we've done like 21 days of acts of kindness. So you get the idea, right? Yeah. And we recently did 21 days of movement again. And everybody was breaking down the door saying, can you do 21 days of no alcohol again? Not that I want to, but I need to. Like, that was kind of the general sentiment. And I think I'm going to go out on a limb and make an assumption that, you know, so many of us are really in quarantine or some version thereof, that a lot of people have been leaning a bit more on alcohol than they might normally, or they're struggling with, you know, questioning the drink and their relationship with alcohol in a way that's kind of hard to avoid right now. And so it really seemed like a great time to do 21 days of no alcohol. Now, that said, I do have a couple of different responsibilities in life, and my career job job is sort of interfering and made it not possible for me to fully commit to the 21 days of no alcohol and all the things that I like to do around them. So I called you, and we have expanded this to 21 days of Question the Drink, which I think is just brilliant. I think it is so inclusive, and I don't know anyone who wouldn't benefit from 21 days of introspection and 21 days of examination and 21 days of, you know, holding space for the question. And then whether they choose to abstain or not is, of course, always up to them. So in any case, you gratefully took the baton, and now I will be participating in the challenge and commenting and joining where I can. But I wanted to leave everybody in your very capable hands for really fully leveraging the experience. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you for asking me. And, you know, this is great because for those of you that use the word sober, I will tell you that October is known as Sober October, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is part of the reason why it sparked this challenge for us. This is a new challenge. This is the first time we've ever done a challenge in Question the Drink. And if you are new here, let me just reframe a little bit or kind of qualify what that means. So Question the Drink is really about questioning your relationship with alcohol. It's not saying you have to be abstinent against or not drinking at all. It's not saying that either. It's saying listening to yourself on the reasons why you're choosing to drink. And this is a great time to set aside just 21 days, 3 weeks. It's not even a full month, right? Just 21 days to see how you can do if you just abstain from having alcohol for that 21 days. And through the challenge, pardon me, we will be doing all sorts of motivational, we'll do tips, we'll do some taste testings, we'll do a little bit of contests. We have Instagram, we'll be both on Instagram with GrayTonic. It's Gray_tonic is my Instagram handle, and Ella's is On Air with Ella. And we'll give you more instructions about that. So if you follow us, you'll see the posts. And if you bring somebody in, if you tag somebody and have a friend do this with you, there may be a prize at the end for the most active people in the group. So
I want to put
that out there. Just throwing it out there as a little teaser. So yes, and I'm so excited. What you don't know is that Tilly and I, surprise, surprise.
Have you been plotting with Tilly?
I have been behind your back.
Rascals.
I have been. I'm sorry. We're cheating on you. We're cheating on you together. She is going to be a guest in this group live with me on October 1st. So the very first day, we're going to do it 12 o'clock noon Eastern, which is 5 o'clock her time, because she is from the UK. If you don't know Tilly, she's got the most.
Oh, it's worth it. I mean, she could read the phone book to you and you'd be captivated.
And then she's also going to be my guest for the last day.
Oh, good.
Last day so on the 21st. So you'll get to see Tilly if you know and love her as much as we do. You're going to just love her presence and what she brings to energy and her wisdom and all of her awesome.
Yeah, that is for sure. In fact, she was integral to the first episode that you talk about, that you refer to so often as the one that that raised the term gray area drinking for the first time. Yeah, that was the episode that I mentioned earlier, 185. She and Andrea Owen were just such a critical part of this journey, and they're so brilliant. So that makes me so happy. And one of the things that I think is worth noting, Kari, is one of the reasons that we do the 21 days of challenges is, I believe so wholeheartedly that our habits sort of make us or break us, right? Like at the end of the day, what are we other than a culmination of our habits? I mean, what is our life experience other than a culmination of our habits? Like arguably we're much more than that, but what you end up doing every day comprises your life story. And so I really started breaking that down and really looking at, what are the things I'm doing on autopilot, and are they serving me? So I brush my teeth every day on autopilot. I'm going to argue that's serving me. I buckle up every day on autopilot. That's a habit. I'm not thinking about it. And that's a habit that serves me. But am I reaching for a bottle of wine when I'm stressed? Or am I diving face first into a bag of tortilla chips an hour ago? And on autopilot. By the way, there's nothing wrong with diving into a bag of tortilla chips consciously and intentionally. It's the things that we do without thinking and the habits that we build that honestly fascinate me. And so what I love about these 21-day challenges, it doesn't matter if you have a problematic or a disordered relationship with alcohol or not. Maybe you're just interested in your own wellness. Maybe you're just curious about yourself. Maybe you're curious about the way you buffer emotions. Maybe you're curious about your coping mechanisms. Whatever it is, I find it utterly fascinating to practice keeping our word to ourselves for 21 days. So if it's 21 days of movement or 21 days of abstaining from alcohol, whether or not that's even a challenge for you, building the habit of keeping your word to yourself is invaluable. And so this is my little tiny contribution in my little tiny corner of the world for practicing that. Does that make sense?
Yes, I love that. And you are a big proponent of habits, and we could talk about that in wellness. Why don't you share about what On Air with Ella is about? I mean, what is your overall theme? I know what it is, but I want you to share it.
No, it depends on the mood that I'm in, frankly. No, it depends on a lot of things. Okay. Thank you for asking that. It started 5 years ago as a wellness thing, right? And I've never, ever postured as a guru in my life. I am a guru of absolutely nothing. But if I have any sort of inclination, it is to live through trial and error and then share my trials, my errors, and my lessons learned. And so that's all that I'm interested in, is wayfaring my way through this thing called life. And if I learn something, I just sort of, I inherently want to share it. If I fail at something, I want to share it because maybe I can save somebody else's step. If I succeed at something, I want to share it because maybe I can offer somebody a shortcut or something that worked for me. So On Air with Ella began as a sort of a wellness, health, fitness, do squats, eat more vegetables. Like that's where we started. And really, it's been such a gateway drug for me into a much more robust definition of wellness, which is, who am I? What am I doing? How do I want to live this life? How do I live my best life? Like not as a cliche, but as a reality. And it's not about how do I take up the least amount of space in the world and how do I, fit into this size jeans. It's not what it's about. It's about showing up as my very best self, and the ways, like honestly, like toolkits on how to get there, shortcuts and things that have not served me. So maybe somebody else can relate to that. So no area is off limits.
Yes, I love that. And I noticed that you've expanded since you've been back on the air, because you had a little bit of a hiatus there. So since you've been back, I've noticed that it's a little bit more broader, but it's still so jam-packed with so many goodies and gold nuggets. And every episode you're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like I didn't know that. It's something else that you can take away. So I love that you bring that. And it's really more focused for women over 40, right? Sorry, guys. But I will say your husband's been on a couple times.
I gotta say, no, any man who cares at all about any woman is going to benefit from quite a few of the shows, right? And again, no subject is off limits. I have done something interesting. The show has been very, very, very wide ranging. There's something in there for everyone. And very recently, I said, you know what? I don't, like, half my audience doesn't even know that I'm in my mid 40s. Like they don't even know that about me. And I actually think that's a really useful part of my story. And I've been a little bit shy about sharing it. I haven't been walking around with a banner being like, hey, this is what middle-aged looks like. Like for some reason, that just wasn't top of mind for me. And actually, I have really embraced my age, my experience, where I am in my life. And I've actually sort of started making it a part of my brand, if you will, meaning all your brand is your external story and the promise that you make to your audience. And so my promise to my audience is, hey, I promise to keep showing up 100% flawed, 100% trying, and still like wanting to kind of kick ass and take names, if you don't mind me being vulgar.
Oh, no.
Like no matter how old or young I might be, I'm here to show up and not go quietly into the night.
Yeah. And listen, you got to follow her on Instagram because her stories are awesome. I'm really working on the stories myself. I'm getting there. I'm getting better at them.
Instagram might be the devil. I'm not sure. I haven't decided.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm like,
It's exhausting.
I have sort of a hate relationship, not gonna lie, with Instagram.
Yeah.
I struggle a little bit, but
yeah, I love it because I love being able to talk to everybody. I have legitimate friends I've never met, and they're people who comment, and then I comment, and then we share information. I mean, I connect with people all over the world, and I absolutely love that. But yeah, the idea of like having to take a picture of yourself and put it out into the world every day is just boggles the mind, and I haven't signed off on that. Yeah.
I know. Well, this reminds me of a point that I wanted to bring up with you, and you mentioned it earlier, and I know this is really important to you, is about body image and how we view ourselves and having these limiting beliefs and how we feel like we have to be perfect, and the imposter syndrome. And just to give a little side note for a second, when Ella interviewed me for her podcast, again, that's episode 217. I got to plug it, of course. You will hear my own story about how once I had this idea in my head, I had all these crashing thoughts of, who am I to do this? I'm not qualified to do this. I'm not ready to do this. I never started a business before. I can't do any of this. And that particular day's episode was called Run Your Own Race? I think it was.
Run Your Own Race, yeah.
And she talked about how she felt like she wasn't qualified or certified or, whatever it was, and to stay in our lane and to do the best that we can. And I swear it was like she said, "Hey, Kari Schwerer, this is for you today, sister," because she could read my mind. And it was that episode that made me realize, yes, I do have the ability to do whatever I want to do. And it gave me that edge and that fire to continue on this path, right? But we have this love, we share this mutual love about understanding limiting beliefs and really empowering, encouraging, and edifying one another, especially when we get down on ourselves on how we look. And we think that we have to be so perfect all the time, or we have to hold an image for the rest of the world to see. And a lot of gray area drinkers do feel that way. They feel as though they have to portray one face to the world. When they come home, it's a whole different person. And so my idea to really shed some of this, to expose what that is, so you can begin to take a look at your relationship with alcohol and realize it's not that scary. We just need to look at it, right? There's no judgment. We're just questioning the drink. And once we're able to do that, we can get rid of those limiting beliefs and some of that imposter syndrome. But I know, Ella, for you, it's a really big passion of yours to talk about body image and imposter syndrome and all that. So do you want to share anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, you're touching on subjects really close to my heart. There's perfectionism, imposter syndrome, all things that comprise our body image struggles. And I want to qualify that and just say, can we just talk about the fact that body image issues are not female issues? Those are not gendered, my friends. Those are men, women, you name it. Because at the end of the day, it's being comfortable in the skin that you're in, and it's being comfortable showing up as you are. And it's understanding that you matter no matter what body you show up in. And let me tell you, as somebody who is in a different body every 4 days, this would make a fabulous Instagram series. I should just take a snapshot every 4 days and be like, nope, same person. But as someone who's been on a journey that has looked like this and embodied lots of different physicalities, it took me understanding that I actually matter no matter what body I show up in, to actually then find the real me, if that makes any sense. Now, I don't want to get too meta for everybody. They're like, for the love of God, it's Facebook Live, chill out. But there's a common theme here, and that is that we disqualify ourselves all the time from the work that we are meant to do, from the reason we are here, from the thing we're meant to do. And we disqualify ourselves by hiding behind perfectionism. Perfectionism is 100% procrastination and an excuse. Just PS, just real quick public service announcement. When something has to be perfect in order to be seen, that is an outstanding procrastination device to literally never do the thing, or to keep, obviously, a complete shell up at all times while a disaster occurs behind said screen. So we could talk for days about that, but perfectionism is too nice a name for what that really is. So I just want to sort of blow that one up. Imposter syndrome and the feeling that we are not qualified to be here. You know what? Find a human being who felt 100% qualified to do the thing that they started. And you found a legitimate unicorn. Congratulations. You can retire.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody starts having all the answers. I mean, when I started in business, Kari, I looked at the people in charge as though they were on high. And I was like, if I do the thing and I get the degree and I do the thing and I do that thing and I do that thing and I work my way up, and then I too will have the magic book of answers. And the truth is, we're all just figuring this thing out called life as we go. Every single one of us, right? At all times.
All times. Yes. And
even as a parent, as a wife, as a professional, as a fill in the blank with your noun, I am making this up as I go along. Just to be clear.
There's no manual, people. There's no manual. We just got to figure this out as we go.
No, and Kari, it looks so easy when you look at somebody's journey and you're seeing their highlight reel on social media and all the things everybody's already heard before, but it really looks easy when you're observing somebody else's journey from the outside, and it is laughable when someone tries to apply the same logic to your own journey because you know the truth.
Yeah. Well, anytime you look at somebody who's super successful and you look at their earlier years and you see, you don't see all that stuff. It's not like they're putting it out there. But everyone sucks in the beginning, right? They all have stuff that they put out that you're like, oh, like I look back on one of the very early blogs I put out and I'm like, oh, that was terrible.
Don't do that.
Or I did a video, my very first video that I did on YouTube. It is, by the way, unlisted. Sorry, guys. Maybe one day. But I called it my rookie video. It is so terrible. It is so incredibly terrible. It was almost like a parody. I was trying to test the lighting, testing the camera. I was making a whole joke about it. And, but I kept it because I want to remember how bad I was.
Yeah, I think it's important to leave that stuff out there. Listen, the first episodes of the On Air with Ella show sound like someone who, I don't know, has never recorded a podcast before. Weird. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Nobody talks about the fact that even the folks who are successful, what is something you are successful in right now, Kari? The question alone makes people uncomfortable. Note.
Yeah, I was like,
okay,
oh,
note that, set that aside. Kari, I want you to out yourself right now. What is something you are good at?
Actually, doing videos. I'm really good at doing videos.
Yes, you are. Thank you for noticing. You're good at doing videos. Are you a good wife?
I think so. Rob says.
Rob!
Honey, am I a good wife?
on a scale of 1 to 10.
On a scale of 1 to 10, babe. 9. Oh, a 9. He said a 9.
I mean, we always have to have room for improvement. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Could every single day that you wake up and you wife, are you outstanding? Are you peak state? Are you top of your game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
No.
Tell the truth.
No, we have this bell curve of being like major fulfilled and super crappy in a stressed out mode, right? We go in between.
Yep. Yep. I am an amateur triathlete, meaning I like to compete in triathlon, and sometimes I'm good at it and sometimes I'm not. Okay, great. If you think that I wake up every day and I'm like, I can't wait to exercise, I'm just so excited. Like, you know what I want to do more than anything? Negative. People do not talk about, they talk about imposter syndrome and failures at the beginning. What they don't talk about is that you can be at the top, you can be peak career. We're at the age where we're meant to be at the top of our game. I have a successful business life. If you think I wake up every day and nail that game, you're crazy. So I think it's so important to acknowledge that we face imposter syndrome, or call it what you want, the feeling that we're not qualified, the feeling that, we're faking it and someone's going to find us out, or we're like, what the hell are we doing here-ness? That is every day of your life in some area. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner all the mystery disappears and you do the thing regardless. And that, like, if you can't tell, that is something that I'm so incredibly passionate about, because the feeling that we need to be qualified first, I'm not talking about being a doctor, okay? Stick with me, like, give me some grace here. The feeling that we have to have it all perfect, all lined up, all the boxes checked before we start the thing, keeps so many people from doing the thing. And if I can bust that myth for a handful of people, I will have done something. Does that make sense?
I love it. And you also said something, and we can sort of land on this, is about the importance of what we do every day, right? So, and this is, if anybody who's gone through the Decide series knows that I talk a lot about daily habits, and what we do on a consistent basis every single day does expand us as humans. And that is the ultimate goal for all of us, is to get to a place where we keep getting better, we keep growing, we keep learning, we keep expanding in our life. And so I know daily habits are really important to you. That is obviously part of this, a big part of the 21-day challenge coming up. The 21 days with no alcohol, if you're just joining us, starts October 1st. It's about doing these little things consistently on a daily basis that provides this foundation for us to get to that next level. So share a little bit about your philosophy on the importance of daily habits, and what are your favorite daily habits, Ella?
Oh, okay. So first I'll start with the latter and tell you that, when I was going through my listen to every podcast, take every supplement phase, okay, I don't know if anyone can relate to this, probably not, but I tried to hack my body in every different way that every podcast ever told me. I was like, oh, if I just did more coconut oil and turmeric, I'd have the perfect physique for the rest of time, right? So like I did all the things, and it turns out I ruined a perfectly good body by trying to make it something that it wasn't. Okay, different story. Okay. So when I was in that phase, I took on other people's habits. I heard things like, oh, you need to get up in the morning, and how you spend your first 30 minutes dictates the rest of your life, and you need to do this sort of thing and this sort of thing. By the way, I'm not here to say that that's right or wrong. What I'm here to say is I was trying on all of these other people's habits. So I no longer have set forth an arbitrary set of rules for myself that I have to follow in order to claim that I'm living my best life. And the reason that matters to me is because I do not want to be a part of the problem. I don't want to be a part of that problem that says, if you did not get up at 4:45 this morning and start your day with meditation, like it's over, pack it in. Okay, I don't want to be a part of that culture. I didn't do that.
You're setting yourself up for failure right away. Like,
that is correct.
I didn't check the boxes. I must be a failure today. Yeah.
That is correct. Here is how I like to look at it now. What I like to look at it now is, what are my values? Okay. What do I truly, truly, truly value? And when you boil off all the noise and everything else peels off, what do I really, really care about? And I won't go into what my values are, but then, oh, was that your stomach?
It's my dog. You go ahead.
I got you. I look at the values that your values at the end of the day are the life that you're trying to build, right? Where are you spending your time? Where are you spending your money? Where are you spending your emotional energy? Where's your mind most of the day? In any case, then I look at, well, what habits do I have around those things? Because if I'm not doing some things on autopilot, then I'm probably like, it's too hard. I can't effort my way into my best life. Like, that's just too hard and too exhausting. So I'll pick a very easy, low-hanging fruit. Something everybody can relate to. If your habit is to create some financial freedom for yourself, then you create a habit where, let's say you get a paycheck, and then immediately a portion of it goes into your savings or into your 401k or into the thing. Like, that is a habit. Even though you're not touching it, you have made that an automatic deposit. And that is exactly what a habit is. A habit is an automatic deposit. So if you're trying to build financial freedom, you have built a system around that. Same thing with your body. If you're trying to show up in your very best physical self, and I don't care what size that is, we're talking about your best, healthiest, longest living version of you, okay? Then you want to say, what habits do I want to build around that? So for me, I have a habit of moving my body every single day. And some days I'm moving it around the block at the pace of a very tired turtle. Like, that's my best. But every day I move my body, and that is a habit. Like, I don't even know. My point is this, Kari, at the end of the day, if you start with your values, if you start with the life that you're trying to build, if you start with what matters to you, then I think it's useful to say, what habits have I created around those so that they can happen on autopilot, instead of going out into the world and pulling other people's habits in and trying to create a life that's not authentic to you and never made sense in the first place.
Yeah, that's all true. And you said something that reminds me of, like, everything that we do, these daily deposits, they provide, it's almost like dividends. It's almost like they keep repeating and they keep building. So it is, and I also really like what you said, and I'll land on this, about finding something that serves you. So my clients, for example, every week as they work with me, I'm introducing 1 or 2 new habits, and then we sort of assess together, is that working for you? Is it serving you? Is it something you're going to be consistent? And if it's not, guess what? We get rid of it.
Because it's not you. It's not authentic. It's not going to happen.
Not everybody's going to want to meditate. Now, I do think it's important everybody has some quiet relaxation time where they can calm their mind, deep breathing, that sort of thing. But hey, listen, it's not for everybody. So it's there again, there's no judgment. We just say that didn't work. What else can we try? And just seeing what fits. But again, it's this repetition thing. I will say I follow Dr. Carolyn Leaf. If any of you know who she is, she's an amazing neuroscientist. Amazing. And she
tag her or tag something so we can all get it.
Carolyn Leaf is amazing.
Okay.
She talks about the importance of doing a habit of consistency of 7 days. Well, okay, we know 7 days, it takes that much time for something to happen. And then, but 21 days used to be kind of, and how it got tagged was 21 days was the typical starting point of building the habit, but it doesn't stick until we do that 3 more times. So now the average is closer to 66 days before we do something on a repetitive basis, before it really becomes a part of us and a routine and something that we're used to. So we're going to do this 21-day challenge. And for those of you who get to the end of the 21 days and you're like, you know what? I really like this. This is how it starts for a lot of people. They do these challenges and then they realize, I don't need alcohol in my life. Maybe that will be you, maybe it won't. And again, there's no judgment. It's just about questioning your relationship with alcohol, questioning how alcohol is serving you or not serving you, how you're going to move into the holiday months past October 21st. So it's all those sorts of questions. And I'm glad that you're here because we're here to support each other. We're going to be here together as a family. And I really hope that you feel like this is a family unit in Question the Drink. And Ella will be popping in. She'll be participating.
You bet.
We'll have Tilly in and out of the group. So for those of you that are here because of Ella and Tilly, you'll see her as well. So we're really excited. Ella, thank you so much for being a part of this episode tonight, live in Question the Drink. We do this every Wednesday. By the way, I'll give a little plug. Next week, wait for it, is my husband, Rob. You might've just seen like a glimpse of him. He actually,
I'll be tuning in.
He did one interview with PBS with me, which is on IGTV. You can check that out. But normally he's always behind the camera, but
holding the dog, apparently.
Oh my gosh, you guys, like the dog never barks. It's so crazy. Of course we're live. Duh. It's all good. But we're going to talk about our relationship as a couple and how we navigated when I stopped drinking and he didn't. And actually before I stopped drinking, what that was like for him and how our marriage got a little rocky last year. We're going to bring all that to the table. We're going to be very open and transparent about it in hopes that it could help you or someone else you know. So look forward to that next Wednesday. And then next Thursday, we got a bonus round with Tilly.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Ella, again, thank you. I love you so much.
I love you too, Kari. You mean a lot to me, and I really appreciate coming along on this ride with you. I'll be in the group, so I can't wait to chat with you all in there.
Yeah. Go follow her on Instagram, On Air with Ella. Make sure you tag all the posts. I'll give you kind of instructions through the posts coming up, but we're super excited to have you. Thanks again.
See ya.